Up on Focal Point. It's the 19th day of the United Auto Workers strike. We take you to the picket line in East Lansing. We all need our morning coffee. Now East Lansing has another choice.
The hub on campus is one of East Lansing's newest high-rise apartments, but students who live here say at first it was anything but luxury.
They served our country on a grand scale. Now they're helping the littlest of creatures. Focal Point starts now.
Hello and welcome to Focal Point. I'm Katie Barecki.
And I'm Griffin Stroyan. We start with a nationwide strike affecting the economy right here in mid-Michigan. It's the United Auto Workers strike, and it's now in its third week. Almost 50,000 General Motors employees find themselves on the picket line instead of the assembly line. Focal Point's Brandon Rothenberg tells us locally, at the plant that makes the Camaro, workers and local businesses worry that everyone is losing money.
The parking lots are empty, and the factory is quiet. But right outside, their voices are heard.
Yeah, I'm out here fighting for rights for everybody.
General Motors employees are on strike, arguing for equal benefits and pay amongst themselves and temporary workers.
As you can hear behind me, the community is in full support of the workers here on strike, from honking as they drive by to even dropping off food and drinks for those who are out here all day long.
Days that were spent on the assembly lines have transitioned to the picket lines.
We just want everybody to get paid the same. We want good health care for everybody. And we just want to provide a future that people can look forward to and say, I'm going to go to work for GM, I'm going to do a good job, and I'm going to get paid a good, fair wage.
The word spread on social media to support those on the picket lines.
And all the ladies are dressed up as Rosie the Riveter. It started with a union sister across town, Local 602. Her name's Bobby Ledesma. She blasted it on Facebook.
What comes out of the union workers' pockets trickles into the local economy. For nearly a decade, Rio Town Bar has been one of the top spots where GM employees come in after work for a drink.
We're seeing people we haven't seen before from the UAW, and I think after the strike we're going to see those same faces. We've opened up our doors to them, and they know this is a good place for them.
With no negotiations underway, all information is kept private to the public until an agreement between the two sides is reached. It's a never-ending grind, as the days returning to the picket lines only get longer. In Lansing, I'm Brandon Rothenberg, Focal Point News.
Charlie Shockey's job right now? He's considered gate captain. Every picket line has one. A GM employers who work 12 hours a day to make sure they're all eligible for strike pay. He makes sure that everyone on the line gets food and plenty of water.
Less than 2 weeks away from the next Democratic debate, and one of the front runners may be missing. Bernie Sanders is in the hospital and recovering from a procedure to fix a heart blockage. His campaign has postponed all upcoming events, but reports that Sanders is resting and in good spirits. Sanders is 78 years old. His other top Democratic competitors, Elizabeth Warren and former Vice President Joe Biden, are also both in their 70s. Sanders tweeted out on Wednesday that he appreciated everyone's well wishes, and he took the opportunity to emphasize his campaign wish of Medicare for all.
A fatal plane crash involving 6 passengers crashed near the Lansing airport yesterday morning. It happened around 9 a.m. Thursday when the single-engine plane crashed west of Airport Road just as the pilot was trying to land. The crash left 3 people dead and 3 people in critical condition at Sparrow Hospital. The names of the victims are not being released until family has been contacted. The cause of the crash may not be determined for days pending on investigations by the FAA and the National Transportation Safety Board. The incident did not cause any other flight cancellations or delays.
One of East Lansing's newest high-rises features a rooftop swimming pool and lounge and the top-of-the-line fitness center. But it was missing something: residents, for a while. Some students couldn't move into the hub on campus because of construction delays. Ryan Burke was looking forward to living off campus for his senior year.
This is my first year off campus, actually, so I was kind of excited to live in an apartment.
And that's when he and his roommates discovered the hub on campus.
We just happened to be passing the construction zone for the hub at the time, and we were like talking about different apartments and everything, and we were like, oh, why don't we look there? Like, we think that might be ready in time.
After signing their contract, they secured their place at the hub.
And then finally, I want to say in August, they sent out a staggered time list.
9:10 from 8 to 10:30, and then so on. And that was just very clear, helped us. I was like, oh, that's perfect.
But then move-in came. And that's when Burke said communication started to fall apart.
So like 12 a.m. on the 21st, we get an email from them saying, hey, if you're supposed to move in at 8:30, don't move in at 8:30, come at 10:30 now. Everyone else, you're still going your time.
The time for Burke and his roommates to move in kept being pushed back.
Why is there such a delay? Like, what's going on with it?
And in order to help students move in, the hub needed one of these, a certificate of occupancy, to show that they were in compliance with building codes.
As soon as you start the building, that end goal of having occupancy is out there.
East Lansing Building and Code Administrator Scott Weaver says the delay in moving in students was because there was a lot the hub still needed to finish.
The goal of having folks move in on a certain date is fine, but you have to complete the building so that we can complete our testing and all of our work.
And a lot of people are getting into their rooms and they're saying, oh, everything's dusty. Things aren't working, things aren't what I was told they would be.
While Burke's room was fairly clean, there were other issues in his room, including his roommate not having closet shelves and their television.
Our room came with a TV, which was a nice TV, and when we got in here, the TV was just kind of laying there like slanted on the table. It was supposed to be mounted. So I want to say we finally got that mounted like last week.
Some other problems he's run into include the elevators.
Sometimes the elevators don't always work, which is hard when you live on the 9th and 10th floor.
And access to the rooftop pool.
So that Saturday after move-in, they hosted a pool party. I remember we tried to go up to the roof like later that night and they're like, we're shut down right now. Like we got in trouble, the party got shut down.
But most of these problems have been addressed, and Burke says he's happy with where he is now.
In all honesty, it's been like 4 weeks now. I'd say a lot of us are like, I really like the place. Like it's undeniably nice. Like I'm happy with everything for the most part now.
Residents are still experiencing some problems, including out-of-service elevators. We've reached out to its management company, but haven't heard back. Apartments start at $600, depending on amenities. From that brand new high-rise to its next-door neighbor that has been an institution, we're talking about the double-decker McDonald's restaurant. Just after midnight on Monday, it caught fire. Firefighters think the fire started in a storage room in the back of the restaurant. The building filled with smoke. There were no injuries and everyone was evacuated. Official cause is under investigation. The restaurant, which is usually open 24 hours a day, remains closed.
Residential real estate platform Zumper released the top college towns with the fastest growing rent, and 2 Michigan cities placed in the top 10. In the survey of nearly 50 college towns across the United States, East Lansing came in at number 7 with a 14.3% rent increase from the previous year. The research found from 2018 to 2019 rent for one bedroom increased $100 with new developments with the Landmark and the Hub. Competition is growing, but so are prices. Prices on new developments at the Hub, for example, start at almost $1,200 a month for a studio apartment. But if you share a one-bedroom in Cedar Village, by comparison, you'll still be paying between $400 and $500. Ann Arbor came in at number 2 with almost a 16% increase, and then Gainesville, home of the University of Florida, topped the list at almost 17% increase. You know the saying, hope it doesn't rain on your parade? Well, in this case, it really did. The homecoming parade was canceled because of rain.
And have you seen the brand new Minskoff Pavilion at the Business College? It's open and we'll give you a tour. What started as a small coffee stand at a farmer's market has now grown into 3 stores around Michigan. Focal Point's Luke Saccone visited Foster Coffee's company's newest addition in East Lansing.
I just got a phone call one day. It was like, hey, can we start a coffee shop? He's like, I want to do this.
Co-founders of Foster Coffee Company Nicholas Pydek and Jonathan Moore started in 2014, testing coffee recipes and catering events.
John and I met in high school. We became really good friends, started a band together.
They opened their first retail space on South Washington Street in downtown Owasso with the vision to create a better community.
You know, when we looked at our downtown, we said, hey, the only way that we're going to do this, the only way that this works is if we work with other businesses, nonprofits, and civic entities.
Their newest location in East Lansing opened up at the end of September.
You know, we're in competition as communities for people to spend their time.
From Espresso Royale to now Foster Coffee Company, there are 5 distinct coffee shops within a half-a-mile radius of each other here in downtown East Lansing.
I think what you're doing is you're creating a scene that people can be a part of.
Foster Coffee is ready to embrace the community with or without competition. They are already making plans for bettering the East Lansing community.
In our mind, if Foster was the only success story, that would be a failure.
One way they are already doing this is by making their shop a study place.
This is the best place to study.
In East Lansing,
coffee brings people together in that way.
I'm Luke Saccone, Focal Point News.
The new 2-story shop is located on Albert Avenue as part of the new Center City construction in downtown East Lansing. Another rainy day in East Lansing causes problems on homecoming. And later, hear about the new and improved Business College complex.
Also, famous alumni made their way back to MSU for homecoming weekend. We'll talk about one in particular today. Brandon Rothenberg is in the Spartan newsroom for our on-campus report. Brandon?
Thanks, guys. Cars cruised down Grand River instead of floats last Friday, raining on MSU's parade. Strong storms caused the cancellation of the annual march down Grand River. The parade was scheduled to start at 6 p.m. and feature the Spartan Marching Band, this year's Grand Marshal Susan Packard, and of course, Sparty. Alums like Lisa Setner traveled hours with her family to see the game and parade.
We drove in this morning from Chicago to visit our daughter Adele. We were going to go to the homecoming parade, supporting his fraternity, Theta Chi. They have the seats for us to sit out on the front lawn, so we were going to go there. But now we found out it was canceled a little earlier, so now we're just up and down Grand River doing some shopping.
Overall, the East Lansing area got about an inch of rain on Friday. The parade was not rescheduled. If you like HGTV, you can give credit to this year's homecoming Grand Marshal and MSU alum Susan Packard. Packard celebrated homecoming at her alma mater with several events, including this public talk at WKAR. In her newest book, Fully Human, Packard shares her perspective on the role of emotional fitness and how to succeed not only in business, but also in life.
So I entered recovery, and I've been in it many years now, and it is the best thing I ever did. And hear people's stories, and they're like my story, and it had a huge influence on how I looked at my work and how I've sort of navigated my whole career.
Aside from HGTV, Packard helped create networks like DIY, CNBC, and the Food Network. The Michigan State Broad Business of College officially opened the Edward J. Minskoff Pavilion with a ribbon cutting last Friday as a part of homecoming weekend. Students, faculty, and alumni cheered the ribbon cutting and then took a long look around the beautiful new pavilion. Construction started 2 years ago and opened in July. The facility covers about 100,000 square feet. Over 85% of undergraduate business school courses and almost 100% of graduate courses are now taught in the Minskoff Pavilion. The Dean of the Business College, Sanjay Gupta, MSU President Samuel Stanley, and alum Eli Broad and Edward J. Minskoff all were there for the celebration.
We've designed and delivered a building that is 100% dedicated to teaching, learning, and student support.
Over 1,000 donors helped make the facility a reality. Besides business and shaping young minds, their stomachs will be full too, with the addition of Mid-Michigan's newest Panera restaurant. That's what's happening on campus. I'm Brandon Rothenberg. Katie, Griffin?
Thanks, Brandon. Well, as fall creeps in, Michigan State men's soccer pushes to combat their rough start.
Also, this was spooky, the Michigan State homecoming game. They gave fans quite a scare. Luke Saccone joins us in the newsroom with the week's sports report.
And later, the Spartans will head on the road to Columbus to face the nationally ranked Buckeyes. I'll have those stories after the break.
Earliest recollection of Michigan State was actually seeing the marching band. I'm a proud member of the Spartan Marching Band. I served as the drum major at Michigan State for 4 years, and it was really one of the highlights of my college career, and the opportunity really set me up for success in not only my career, but also being a leader in my company. The program I was able to study allowed me the opportunity to understand a variety of the communication disciplines, and I think it was that opportunity to be able to understand journalism, to understand public relations, other aspects of communication, and certainly advertising, really allowed me to create kind of a general understanding and really pave the way for me to go and create and invent and build the career that I wanted to pursue. I love that we have students at Michigan State who are eager, they're thirsty for knowledge, they have the tenacity to want to go and roll up their sleeves, they want to learn the trade, they want to learn the craft, and I just feel like it's my responsibility to be able to share with people the success I've created and be able to open doors for them to create the same.
Men's soccer has gone off to a rough start this season, but finally got some results last weekend. In their first Big Ten matchup of the season, they were able to beat a top 25 Rutgers team for their first win of the season. They look to add another win to their resume against Penn State earlier this week. Nittany Lions were undefeated through 6 matches before coming into DeMartin. Spartans looking to cool off their hot streak at home in this one. Penn State's Liam Butts goes by Nick Woodruff with his left and curls it into the top corner 1-0 in the 28th. In the second half, look at this service from Josh DeBora. Sends it right to the feet of Andrew Privet, who shows off some tight dribbles and volleys at home. Nittany Lions up 2-0. It didn't stop there. Butts fires this layoff pass from bottom left to put this one on ice. Penn State rolls through East Lansing untouched with a 3-0 victory. Spartans now head into the long haul of their Big Ten schedule. They pack up and hit the road to Madison to go toe-to-toe with Wisconsin on Sunday. The MSU women's soccer team didn't win any conference games last year, but they look to change that in their Big Ten home opener against Purdue. It was a rainy day at DeMartin, the cause of sloppy play for much of this one. MSU looking to break the deadlock early on the counterattack here. Cameron Evans plays Paige Weber through, and the freshman with a clinical finish. Post in. Weber's 4th goal puts MSU up 1-0. Late second half now, Gia Wahlberg gets in behind, and there's only one outcome here. She puts it in gear down the wing and roofs it over the Purdue keeper to put the finishing touch on MSU's first Big Ten in over a year. It was quite a long wait, but that probably made this win even sweeter for MSU. The Spartans moved to 8-3 overall and 1-2 in Big Ten play. The Michigan State football team had a homecoming date with the Hoosiers of Indiana last week. A high-scoring affair between both offenses, but the Spartans came out with the win 41-30. Spartan Stadium was filled with a sea of alumni for homecoming. Maybe even Draymond Green wanted to suit up for Coach D'Antonio. First quarter, Michigan State's second drive. Spartans inside the 5, Elijah Collins kicks it outside for an easy touchdown to give this team a 7-0 lead. After a back-and-forth game, the Spartans found themselves down 3. Brian Lewerke fires this one to Matt Cyber for a 10-yard score. That's his 3rd touchdown of the year. His presence has very quietly been felt in the red zone. And after one of the biggest plays of the game, tied at 31, Lewerke runs the read option, splits defenders, and is dragged down 1 yard shy of the goal line. That play would set up a Matt Coughlin field goal to put the Spartans up 34-31. Indiana now with one last chance. After a few laterals for the Hoosiers, Michael Penix ends up with the ball, gets tackled by Jacob Panashuk, fumbles the ball into the end zone where Michael Dowell falls on it to extend Michigan State's lead. Spartans move to 2-0 in Big Ten play. Sam Brid has more from Spartan Stadium.
It was a battle to the end. 1 week after becoming the winningest head coach in school history, Mark D'Antonio found his offense bailing out his defense. Hasn't happened in quite some time, and well, it worked out for the Spartans.
The offense, as you said, really bailed the defense out. I don't think we've had a game like that defensively in a while, but usually if they score less than 20, we win, and if we score more than 30, we win.
Yeah, they were moving the ball well, and some adversity that we haven't faced in a while as a defense. But I think it was good for our defense, to get the ball moved on us and see how we responded in the end.
It definitely feels good to be able to score when we need to and drive down there at the end and get points. When the defense wasn't having their best day, which doesn't happen a lot, but I'm glad we played well today.
A tribute to Coach D from Tom Izzo after the game was the perfect end to a perfect homecoming. From Spartan Stadium, Sam Britton.
But the road ahead of them is going to be extremely tough as they travel to Columbus this Saturday to take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. And for Coach D'Antonio, he's well aware of the roadmap to Indianapolis.
Today, if you want to be Big Ten champions or on the East Division champions, that goes through Columbus, Ohio. We know that, we expect that, and that's been the norm here.
Should be a good one. The stadium will be blacked out for this night's game at the Horseshoe. Kickoff is set for 7:30. That's what's happening in sports. I'm Luke Saccone.
It is Friday, which means we start thinking about football weekend, but some of us think movies. Today in entertainment, we have news from Gotham City, someone who flies in space, and someone who flies with a web.
Yeah, Tony Black is live now with more.
It's been 80 years since the creation of one of the world's most famous villains, the Joker. And this week, that crazed smile made it back to the big screen.
I have some bad news for you.
The psychological thriller tells an original story of how a failed comedian turns to tormenting Gotham City.
When I was a little boy and told people I was going to be a comedian, everyone laughed at me. Well, no one's laughing now.
Joaquin Phoenix stars as Arthur Fleck, better known as the Joker, as he goes through ups and downs of this emotional and action-packed film. After his reign, Gotham City will never be the same.
One small thing.
Yeah.
When you bring me out, can you introduce me as Joker?
Natalie Portman is back, this time in a scientific thriller.
I saw my house from space. Not literally, but my life.
Lucy in the Sky tells a story of a woman astronaut who has returned from a mission to space.
Time to wrap it up.
Just a few more minutes.
Lucy has dedicated her whole life to these missions until she meets a guy who encourages her to explore life.
Anything's wrong.
Really? Hit me.
As Lucy begins losing touch of reality, she becomes obsessed with getting back into space. This weekend in Limited Theories, you can find out if Lucy gets her feet back in the sky or if space leaves her lonely. After what seemed like the end of the road for our favorite web-sling hero, Disney and Sony have decided to finally work together again. Disney and Sony announced they will move forward with a third Spider-Man film with Tom Holland reprising his lead role. Part of the deal also includes plans for him to appear in one other Marvel movie. The latest Spider-Man movie, titled Spider-Man Far From Home, received $1.1 billion at the box office, making it Sony's biggest movie of all time. That success made Sony feel like they didn't need Disney to be successful with the character. But Disney was not interested in letting go of Spider-Man or his role. With the original falling out happening back in August, fans are excited to see Tom Holland return to the big screen after Far From Home left fans on a cliffhanger. We'll have to wait until July 16th of 2021 to find out what happens. Katie Griffin, do you want me to buy you guys a ticket?
I don't know, Tony. I personally have never seen a Spider-Man movie, but now may be the time to join the fandom.
Katie, you have to join the fandom. It's an incredible movie. You have to see them.
Well, I may.
I'm going to hold you to it.
Okay.
You know, the last 15 years, bee colonies have been dying off, and scientists aren't quite sure of the reason. We know, of course, the bees are incredible pollinators, and we can't lose what they mean to the health and of the world. One unlikely group is taking the problem into their own hands. Focal Point's Alyssa Bird tells us that these folks are getting a sweet return on their investment.
Hurts when you get stung.
Jeremy Lee Huffman knows the feeling.
There's no joke about it.
With the damaging effects of serving in the military, which lingered with him once he left. But he's found a way to heal with Heroes to Hives.
You take care of the bees and they're going to take care of you too.
A program where veterans have the chance to serve in a different way.
It's an awesome way to continue to serve.
By protecting honeybees. In exchange, the work serves as therapy for veterans.
She was real shriveled up as far as her abdomen was.
Adam Ingrayo, an Army vet and agricultural entomologist,
I think I have the best job in the world.
Founded the program in 2015.
A lot like my own personal experience, that beekeeping actually was serving as a healing modality for a lot of these veterans. as they transition from the military and just try to become more connected with their community.
Veterans in the Heroes of High program have no problem finding community amongst their little friends. All you need is a veil and definitely a lot of courage.
I've always been a loner, so I can be by myself with my bees.
The program is also making strides to protect the world's pollinators.
Like we serve in the military, we protect our national security. As beekeepers and as farmers, we protect our food security in this country.
Many people can't deal with the buzz or fear of being stung.
Veterans are the ideal demographic to be doing it. I mean, we're trainable, we're hardworking, a little bit of adrenaline never did us the wrong way.
But Huffman knows it's the bees that help them heal.
You know, we can be part of something that's bigger and better than ourselves again.
In East Lansing, Alyssa Burr, Focal Point News.
Now the end of the season for the Heroes to Hives program. With nearly 300 students, they plan to expand the program next year to benefit more veterans throughout Michigan and even other states. And that's all we have for this week's edition of Focal Point. I'm Griffin Stroyan.
And I'm Katie Barecki. Don't forget to watch the Spartans play Ohio State University tomorrow at 7:30. Have a good weekend.